So Donald Trump's flirtations with illegality when it comes to his sexual exploits continue in this edition of Loser Donald. You've heard obviously about the Trump tapes and his desire to grab women by their crotches. Well, he's been busy in other activities too. It turns out that he's not just pathetic when it comes to moving heavily on women and trying to seduce them by buying them futons. Even when he just wants to see something titillating, he goes about it in an incredibly creepy way. So this was revealed earlier this year. Bridget Sullivan, a former Miss New Hampshire, told BuzzFeed last spring that Trump would walk through the dressing rooms of the Miss USA pageant that he was running to stare at the naked contestants. The campaign at the time denied the allegations strongly. Now, what's funny about that, you'll see in a second, it was confirmed more recently by Maria Bellato, the former Miss Vermont Teen USA, who told BuzzFeed that Trump caused a panic in the dressing room when he barged in unannounced as the young women, some of whom were as young as 15 years old, were getting dressed. 3 other former teen beauty queens who wished to remain anonymous corroborated Bellato's account. And so there we have, that's 5 former beauty queens all confirming. Now, Bellato also gave a quote about how she felt when it happened back in the, that was in the late 90s. She said, "I remember putting on my dress really quick because I was like, oh my God, there's a man in here." Bellato recalled Trump trying to calm the teenagers down by saying, "Don't worry, ladies, I've seen it all before. Don't you worry, I've seen naked 15-year-olds I'm attracted to before." Now, look, this could simply be a creepy incident of a guy who was too involved in the day-to-day running of his Miss USA pageant contest, and then he was just wandering around, and he happened to see the women like that. But the campaign denied the allegations 20 or so years after they happened, even though it was already known for years that this was not remotely true and that Trump didn't just happen upon these women. This was his design all along. He said this to Howard Stern years and years ago. "I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show and everyone's getting dressed. No men are anywhere and I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant and therefore I'm expecting it. Is everyone okay? You know, they're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women, and so I sort of get away with things like that." So yes, he goes in intentionally inspecting it, but what he's inspecting is naked 15-year-olds. And so it's not just that he tries to seduce married women by buying them furniture and then they shoot him down. It's not just that he subconsciously understands that if he tries to kiss a woman, she's likely to run away, so he grabs her by the pussy first. Even when he just wants to see something he's attracted to, he does it in absolutely the most non-consensual, creepy way imaginable. By busting into dressing rooms of women who are just trying to compete in some stupid pageant and watching them as they're naked, despite the fact that some of them won't be legal to have sexual relations with for 3 years. Now, this was a while ago. This was 20 years ago or so. But that still makes him an approximately 50-year-old man who is trying to ogle naked 15-year-olds. So look, this is not one of the Loser Donalds that should determine your vote in this election. This doesn't have huge policy implications. It does perhaps have legal implications, since he was intentionally, of his own words, trying to see naked underage girls dress. But no, this is just another example of how inherently pathetic he is. That when it comes to his sex drive and his sexual appetite, he knows that women are not interested. He knows women don't want to kiss him. They don't want to be touched by him. They don't want to be seen by him. So he sets up situations through spending millions of dollars so that he can, against their will, at least see something a bit naughty. Doesn't matter if it's a teenager or whatever. Absolutely pathetic. Classic Loser Donald on display.